Welcome to Whiskey Cigars Football. I'm Dave. This is George. I think we're on number 7. I think it's 7. But welcome to the NFL season. We're very excited to have you with us.
Football Friday.
Football Friday. It's also Funky Friday on WXPN on 88.5. I highly recommend it for everybody on Fridays. We're going to start like we always do. We're going to start with cigar, and then we'll go to whiskey, and then we'll talk about our favorite thing in the world. So we are partaking of an Olivia Connecticut Reserve. This is about a $8 cigar, a little over 8. George just said to me it's a little heavier than I normally smoke, and I'm not going to disagree with him. But I like the flavor. To me, it's heavier, but it's still smooth. And I enjoy smooth.
Kind of like me, heavier but smooth.
It's smooth. Yeah, that's why he's beautiful, heavier and smooth. And I thoroughly enjoy it. How about you? You never had this, right?
I never had it. I like it, and I think it pairs well with the bourbon we're drinking.
Yeah.
4 Roses, single barrel.
4 Roses, single barrel. And what's this run?
That's about $45 a bottle.
I'm gonna have to have a so more of that.
Yeah, not too bad. I smell it. It smells like breakfast. It's like maple syrup.
So you're saying you could do 4 Roses and bacon?
You could put this on your pancakes, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Definitely some hints of cherry in there too. So it's a really smooth, really nice bourbon, and I think it kind of pairs very nicely with this cigar. So I could see this bottle not making it through the night.
And this is definitely to back my friend up here. My smooth friend up. It definitely has a little bit of a maple flavor as well. So we didn't do that on purpose. He brought the whiskey, I brought the cigar. It just kind of happened that way.
Shit just works out.
Yeah, I'm enjoying myself right now.
Yeah.
So we're good. All right, moving on.
Yeah, the birds. Go Birds.
Go Birds. If you guys didn't see the hype video, I enjoyed it. I heard some complaints that people were like, oh, I like the intense, crazy ones, but
I think they kind of went for the comedy kind of community fun part, and I listen. I don't know if there's been a season like this for a while where you just don't know. You kind of maybe had that feeling a little bit in '99, but you had McNabb,
21 years ago, 22 years ago.
You had the number 2 pick, you had the number 2 quarterback, so there was some excitement in there. Obviously maybe Doug's first year and Carson, but once again, you had the number 2 pick again. So just completely 2 unknowns in Hurts and Sirianni. So I think they went for the positive community. Go Birds. We're all here. We're all excited for football. I like it. I wouldn't want them to do that every year, but for this year, I felt it was fitting.
All right. So I'll say 2 things. The hype video, I think it's more about the state of the world right now. Like literally everyone's had a pretty crappy year. Yeah. I think everyone would say that. Yeah. And I think the Eagles just kind of wanted to lighten it up a little bit.
Yep.
I thought that was the purpose. But Jason Kelce out there in a robe worked for me. That was good. Yeah. He's a sexy man. You know what I mean?
He is. I heard he went blonde. I heard he went blonde, and this is
in tribute to Zach Ertz.
In tribute to Zach Ertz. So me and my buddy today, this is if the Eagles. I'm going out to Vegas.
Yes.
Game 7, going to Vegas. If the Eagles have a winning record, 4-2 or better, at that point, I will dye my hair blonde as well. And so
how about the beard? The beard too?
I'm going to shave the beard and go blonde.
Because if you did the white beard, you got a little Santa thing going on.
I already got the white beard, so it's
as we head into the holidays, that would be very festive.
Exactly.
All right, and then for me, heading into this Eagles season, I'm incredibly excited, and you know why? I have 0 expectations for this team. If they go 7-9, or what is it? Yeah, 7-9. No, 7-10. I'll be okay with it.
Or 8-9.
They go 6-11. I'm okay with it. They go 10-7. 11-6.
I disagree with that.
I'll be so happy,
Yeah, 11
dude.
exactly. But
I will
to
be
say
so
you have no
excited.
expectations.
I know. I really know.
And you say that now, but if they're 2-15 or 3-14, it's not going to be.
Well,
good.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. I don't
think it is either.
I think the number that I said was 6, but you changed it to 2. But
but you're saying no expectations. So no expectations means you don't care or you don't.
No.
Like,
I'm not saying I don't care, and I'm also not saying if they got off to 8-1, like my expectations wouldn't change, because they would. I'd be like, okay, you're 8-1. Now we got to go win something, right? But they got a rough first 4 games. You and I went through it this week.
Yeah. We'll go through all 17. But yeah, it's a tough start.
Tough start, but I watched the Dallas Tampa Bay game. I'm sure you guys all did. I was not impressed with Tampa's defensive front at all. Dallas was missing their best offensive lineman. They got no pressure. The one play Sue got in his face, that was about it. They were blitzing a guy almost every other play because they couldn't get any pressure. And then Dallas stinks again. They couldn't get any pressure either.
Yeah, first game of the season. I just with very limited preseason. I don't put too much. Everybody gets wound up these first couple games, and Tampa got smoked last year the first game. And
well, that was a whole new coaching staff and everything last year. It's not this year.
Well, no, Arians wasn't new. Brady was new.
Wasn't Arians new last year? That was his first year.
Nope.
Second.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I was wrong.
So I don't put too much into that first game. I will say, listen, Dallas's offense looked great, but their defense didn't, and that's what they're going to be. That's what they were last year. It was, before Dak got hurt, they were in shootouts every week, and so
2019, Dak had a tremendous season. They went 8-8.
Yeah, to me, that's what they are. That's
if you look at his numbers from 2019, they were spectacular.
Mike McCarthy doesn't scare me, and that defense doesn't scare me.
Yeah, defense definitely. They spent a lot of money on that. Micah Parsons, not saying I'm a Penn State guy, he was out of position on almost every passing play. Like literally every one. He was like just reaching, like swinging around.
But this isn't about the Cowboys.
No, it's not. But I had to because they lost in classic fashion, and it was fantastic.
It was great. My second favorite team is whoever plays the Dallas Cowboys. So.
And on top of that, breaking news somewhat, their starting right tackle, Lau Collins, just got suspended for some type of carcinogen for 5 games.
Yeah.
So they're having a good 24 hours.
And for us, Brandon Brooks is starting.
I thought so.
Though not McLeod. McLeod has been ruled out this game.
I didn't expect him to play. I actually thought they would IR him or something for the first 3 games, but
yeah, we'll see.
Surprised. All right. So we went kind of through what we're excited about the Eagles season. I did. What are you excited about?
So I'm excited about. I think if you are healthy, you have very good offensive and defensive lines. I think it's probably the only.
Would you say top 5 both lines in the NFL?
I would say definitely top 10, and I think they probably fall more in the 7-8 range.
Both lines.
Yeah.
You don't think either one of them are in the top 5?
I think if the offensive line is 100% healthy, then yes. But they haven't been. Brooks hasn't been. Johnson hasn't been. So. That comes into it. But I'm very excited about them. I'm very excited about Jonathan Gannon, JG. I wasn't a huge Schwartz fan. I just think the lack of turnovers, the lack of pressure, the lack of aggressiveness of that defense. Defense should be aggressive by nature. I think they had some really good signings. Anthony Harris. I think one of the other things is, and it really comes down to McLeod. But if McLeod is healthy, that is a much improved secondary last year. Steve Nelson being on their side really helps Darius Slay.
Anthony Harris without
Avante Maddox not being on the outside, moving back to his slot, which is a natural position. And then, having Harris and McLeod is another big thing that is exciting. And then I think Devontae Smith, you have the Heisman Trophy winner. You got to be excited about him. So really, that's the things that I'm excited about.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't even think about that, but I've been reading a lot about what's going on in some of these training camps, about the struggles that teams are having with even putting an offensive line together. And that gives me hope, because I think we're very myopic in our view here in Philly. We only look at the Eagles. And I was texting George last night. I said, I don't even know who number 23 is on Tampa, but he's awful. They literally threw at him like 6 times in a row, and he did nothing.
Yeah.
So that actually made me feel good, because other teams have bad players, not just the Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
I think, the offensive line, not to get back to that a little bit,
Yeah.
I think with Dickerson and Driscoll's out.
That's right.
and
Dickerson is active.
And Brooks and Johnson coming off injuries. Dude, it's an unbelievable depth there. Even Herbig, like there's some nice players on that offense. And then like your 9th or 10th offensive lineman is Andrew Dillard, who's a first-round pick. And
Yeah.
my concern with him is he doesn't love football, but if he's your 9th or 10th guy,
Yeah, but he's the depth guy.
You have some nice depth there, and that's something to be excited about with a couple good running backs and a young quarterback.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then let's talk about Eagles concerns. And I know you probably have a lot of them, so I'll let you go.
I'll tell you what,
first.
the biggest concern is the lack of depth on the team. I think if you threw their first 22 out, you feel pretty good.
Sure.
I think, because of injuries and because of history, there's not a lot of depth there. Secondary doesn't have a lot of depth. Linebacker doesn't have a lot of depth. Wide receiver doesn't have a lot of depth. Wide receivers outside of Devontae is a real concern.
I wasn't talking about wide receiver. I was talking about linebacker. Now, whether the players are any good or not is a difference than they don't have any depth.
Depths are guys that you.
Because there's a couple guys there I don't know about.
But that's a depth issue. Now,
But they have numbers.
Like you said, 8. Well, you could have numbers at every position. Doesn't mean
Well, I don't think they have numbers at wide receiver or D-back or
But
corner.
You could have kept you could have kept Hightower and Fulgham and those guys and had numbers, but you would still have a concern in that position. The only guy, Eric Wilson's proved he's an NFL player.
Singleton's a tackle machine. I love him.
Singleton was a tackle machine last year
He'll be one
on
this
a
year.
very, very bad defense. Somebody's got to tackle people. Now, I'm not saying that Alex Singleton can't be that guy, but you don't know. There's a very small sample size. And then after those two, it is an absolute who knows, or guys that haven't done anything yet in the NFL.
That's true. They haven't done anything, but there's a couple guys with potential, which is Davion Taylor. I like Sean. I know you don't like him. I like Sean Bradley, and I think Edwards is a better player now. He's definitely a better player.
I think Edwards out of those three is the best. Davion Taylor is an undersized guy from the Pac-12 that plays no defense. Maybe, hopefully, hey, hopefully, I would love to be wrong. I haven't.
If he can get on the field.
Bradley's a special teams player.
All right.
For you.
All right.
This year, we're talking about this year. We're not talking about what guys might be 3 years from now. This year, the depth of the team.
He's Temple tough.
Is even at running back, your backup running back is a 5th-round pick. So and Miles Sanders has had injury concerns. There's a lot of tight end. Yeah, you have some depth. But depth's definitely a concern, and the wide receiver position after Devontae Smith concerns me a lot. I think there's not as many concern. I think we're going to touch on this on the next part with Hurts. Not to ruin your segue about the wild card, but
yeah, that's cool.
Really like Hurts and Sirianni.
There's no format here, dude. Do whatever the hell you want.
Hurts and Sirianni are the wild cards. Like they're the wild cards. If Sirianni's up to the task and Hurts is up to the task.
All right, so let's just stop right there.
It changes.
What based on what you've seen and what you've read, and I know you haven't been there, you're thumbs up on Hurts, you're like this on Hurts, you're like this, and Sirianni. Where are you at?
So I think Hurts is a leader and as a person. I think he's proven that he is definitely a thumbs up type of guy. The team seems to respect him, respond to him. He's definitely a guy that puts in the work. he's a guy you cheer for. I think his intangibles.
You know who's a guy I
are-
cheer for? You, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you.
I
Thank
cheer
you.
for you all the time.
Hey, somebody. There's somebody. There's one person.
Absolutely.
Hey, cheers to Dave cheering for me. Here's the one person. Listen, if you cheer for me, like this video,
Hmm.
and I'll do a shot with you virtually.
But the
Or
only
in
thing
person,
I will,
if
the only
know
thing I will say to you is, this is my problem with Eagles fans. Every team doesn't have depth at certain positions, right? There's not a team you can name
you. Absolutely.
that doesn't have depth. Like the Eagles have depth on the offensive line. They have depth at tight end. They have depth at quarterback.
They don't have it. Well,
No, they do.
No,
they do.
You're talking bodies. Depth is good bodies.
I understand, and
Everybody-
I think they have good bodies
The-
at those positions.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Quarterback, I disagree with you.
Good
because-
depth on the defensive line as well.
But you listen, the offense and defensive line, if they're healthy, which they haven't been, and if guys
Agreed.
play to their
Agreed.
Derek Barnett has not played to his potential yet.
Agreed.
Contract year, hopefully good things. happen.
If he's gonna play to it, he's gonna play to it this year.
Josh Sweat has shown flashes.
Contract year.
You know, Ryan Kerrigan, obviously older now, but if he's in that Chris Long role where he's only asked to,
That's
you
all
know,
he's going to be asked.
Yeah, but Brandon Graham, another year older and tired out last year. Cox has not been able to fight through as he's gotten older. Those double teams, like there's some concern. You have some good players there, but good players aren't enough. Like if you and these rankings they do top 100 players, and I'm not putting a ton of stock in that, but there's not a lot of guys on the Eagles. Some lists had none, some had one or two, and the guys had one or two at Cox and like Kelsey in the 90s. So, yeah, they have guys and they have names, but what have they done in the last year or two? That's depth. Gardner Minshew, Gardner Minshew is a great backup quarterback. Jalen Hurts might be a great backup quarterback. Joe Flacco might be a serviceable backup quarterback. Or any of them a starting quarterback. You need to have a starter. You need to have somebody, and that's why Hurts is the wild card and Sirianni is the wild card. And I like what I've heard out of the head coach so far. Like I do. I think some people, worry about him because his conferences were awkward and stuff. But
He likes cliches. He uses some cliches.
Yeah,
You're a cliche guy.
No, I think you're more of a cliche
I
guy.
love a good cliche.
Sure, who doesn't?
Absolutely.
I mean, I just think, you got to see how he reacts to things. How does he react to losses? How does he react to injuries? How does he react when the first blow up in the locker room comes? These are all things we just don't know. How does Hurts grow? And my feeling is, if Sirianni's growing, Hurts will grow with him. Hurts wants to be coached. I think Sirianni will coach him. I think they grow together. And in my opinion, I think as the season goes on, that the Eagles team does get better.
And I believe we all want to grow as individuals. But I will make a wild prediction. I guess a out of the box prediction.
Sure.
I believe the Eagles yards passing for a season is Carson Wentz, and I think it's a little over 4,000. I think it's about 4,100, 4,200. I could be wrong. I apologize to you guys. Hurts will break that this year. Now,
Wow.
there's an extra game. There's the 17th game. But I predict he plays all 17 and breaks the Eagles season passing yard record.
That's
what I believe.
That's still averaging 250 a week.
Okay.
And being healthy.
I'm okay.
Being healthy for all 17, and then also not potentially getting
Two-
benched or anything else. So that would be impressive if he was able to do that.
250 works. Because he's going to run for 60 to 80 a week, too.
I think I was listening to Brian Baldinger this week, and one of his concerns last year was that, Hurts wasn't reading the entire field. He was looking, if somebody wasn't there, he took off. At 6 feet, whatever, 200 pounds, he's not going to be able to do that forever. He's going to have to see that whole field. He's going to have to be able to throw the ball 60 to 80.
I'm not enjoying his analysis right now. Yeah.
You're talking 60 to 80 yards. He's rushing over 1,000 yards. You know what I mean? 1,000 plus 1,100, 1,200.
I apologize. 40 to 60. There you go.
That's a lot of
Whatever.
rushing.
I'm
and
feeling
for a guy,
good right now.
And for a guy his size to be able to do.
He's 220 though. He's not 195.
Listen, I told you he's my wild card. I believe in him. We go to the record breakdown, and I know this is an old and tired thing.
Record breakdown. All right, go ahead.
We're going to record
Yeah,
breakdown.
we'll go to record breakdown. Go ahead.
You said there's no format,
There
motherfucker.
is no format. Let's go.
Shit, dude. Let's go through the games. I think we both agree they beat Atlanta. I think.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern is all the stuff you just said, right? It's first game with the quarterback and the coaching staff.
First game in Atlanta with the new coaching staff.
Yeah.
And you know.
You got to hope nobody gets kicked out in pregame like Trotter, right?
Trotter.
You got to hope that doesn't happen.
Like Grease egged him on. He knew. He knew.
What
He
if
knew.
Singleton gets thrown out of the game?
Yeah.
Pre-snap.
Well,
I mean,
you
he's
know.
an animal.
Don't dance on the Falcon midfield and won't be an issue. I think they win, and I think
I'm a good dancer. I would
we,
dance on that Falcon. That's right.
We talked about the first 4 games. I think they're tough. I mean, I really think if
Pretty
you're
good.
looking through that, I think San Fran. I think that's a loss. It's an improved defense. I think that's going to give Hurts some issues.
So let's stop there. So Atlanta on the
Oh, it's a
road,
win.
right?
Mhm.
And then we have San Fran at home,
Mhm.
and then we're on the road again. Who we at there? And then it's KC at home, right?
You're on the road against Dallas.
On the road, Dallas, and then KC at home. That has to be, right? That has to be the hardest first 4 games of any team. And the Eagles' schedule gets significantly better after that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're 1-3, and I think that'll tell a lot of Hurts and Sirianni. How do they play in those games? And you talk about record. There's no team that goes 4-13 or 5-12. That's like we were in every single game. Like towards the end of the year, those teams usually fall apart and they start getting blown out. And so
Eagles 2017
So
with Dougie P and Wentz's first year, they were in every game. They got blown out one game.
2016, but you weren't.
2016.
You,
Sorry.
you weren't a 4-win team. I mean, you were a
Yeah, they won 6, right?
You had
Weren't they 6 and 10?
Yeah, you had a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, and you almost essentially have that. I know Hurts isn't a
But
rookie,
look up the record. They got blown out one game. They were in
But-
every other game.
but
that year.
you want to build on stuff. You want to build on that. So that 1-3, I don't. If they're 1-3, I'm okay. Are they 1-3 and they just look terrible and disorganized and just not a good football team? If you're 1-3 and you were like in those games, I think that's
Yeah, you got to
a
be
very-
excited if you're an
that's a
Eagle fan.
positive.
I
Yep,
agree.
yep.
Yeah, you're good. And again, and I want to make a rule that we don't say if you're healthy, okay? Because every team has that.
Every team
right?
has that.
Every team has that, right? If you're healthy, we all get it, okay? For everyone that watches us, if the Eagles they're like the Ravens just lost 4 players in 2 weeks, right? Like that's an issue.
But there's
Right?
and that's what we're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
like last year on offense, you had 4 starting offensive linemen, your 2 tight ends,
Yeah,
your top
so-
3
so-
wide receivers.
so when you
your
evaluate-
your top 2 running backs, like everybody was hurt. You can't listen. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be guys out. So when I say
Yeah.
if they're healthy, I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about guys that have. You're counting on Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks being Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks from 2-3 years ago. I can't count on that.
I agree.
Like I can't count on that because they haven't been healthy the last couple of years. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying when you're healthy.
See, but I'm more concerned with the Jason Kelce's of the world, who's played every game
Yeah.
and has been healthy,
Yeah.
and know what that means to me is he's taking a beating, right? That's what that means
and
to
he's
me.
older. Yeah. So that's when I say
So-
when you're healthy. I'm not saying like
Like I'm
there's
actually,
going to be injuries.
I'm more confident Johnson and Brooks getting through this year than I am Kelsey.
Nah,
But
Kelsey's a warrior.
we'll see.
Jason
we'll see.
Kelce's a
I'm
warrior.
not saying he's not a warrior.
He's a
I
warrior.
have tremendous love
Jason Kelsey
for Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey. Stop.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
So-
he's taking
so
a
let's
bad
go.
beating.
We're 1-3. All right. We're
Yeah.
going to Carolina, and that's a tough game.
Matt Rule, Temple tough.
Temple tough. Love Matt Rule. I think they win.
I
the
think
game.
Matt Rule's a great coach, by the way.
I think he is as well.
I don't know organizationally going with Sam Darnold, but I mean, the Jets are such a disaster. I don't even know if you can blame Sam Darnold. You know what I mean?
I think it was, you know what, if where they were picking, they were
Jets are like their
we're-
ninth coach now.
We're not going to get a top guy. Let's get Darnold for a year.
They could have stayed there and picked Mac Jones. They could have stayed there.
They could
Mac
have.
Jones got picked, what, 15 or
But
something?
they could have, but you know, you don't necessarily know how teams are going to move up. Do you want to use draft picks to move up? And maybe Mac Jones wasn't one of their guys. Like
Probably wasn't.
I don't know that. You know,
He probably
maybe Justin
wasn't.
Fields wasn't one of their guys. Like, so, hey, roll it with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's better than Teddy Bridgewater. And it's
Oh,
knock on Teddy
without
Bridgewater.
a
but,
doubt.
you know,
I'll knock Teddy Bridgewater. He's overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I think they win that game. So I think that's the big win. I think they come back and they win that game, and then it's a short week. Tampa coming in. I think they play Tampa very tough in that game. I think Tampa wins.
Which puts us at 2-5 at that
2-4
point.
because we're 1-3. We beat Carolina,
Oh, I'm sorry.
2-3,
2-4.
2-4.
I apologize.
but then I think they get the extra rest and they go out to Las Vegas and they win.
You
They
think
beat
does that have anything to do with you being there?
Me being there, they're going to be inspired. Even though my record is terrible at Eagles away games, I think me.
What is your record at Eagles away games?
I don't. I would have to, maybe in the next podcast I'll figure it out. But it's not a winning record.
So Eagles fans travel well. You just don't travel well.
I just picked the wrong games to travel to. Obviously, so you're 3-4, and then you got Detroit, and it's on the road again. But I just don't believe in Detroit.
I don't think anybody believes in Detroit.
I think that's a win. I think you're 4-4 at that point. I know it's not quite the halfway of 17 games anymore, but you're at the 4-4 mark.
We'll call it halfway. In our math, that works.
Yeah. And then you come home, Chargers traveling across the country. I think that's a win.
And what you have to look at, folks, and we're going to get into a little bit of gambling, so it's a good segue. You have to look at how many times a West Coast team is flying to the East Coast, right? And if it's multiple times within a couple of weeks, that's usually a good spot for the East Coast team. And for the West Coast team as well, if you have an East Coast team flying multiple weeks.
So I think that's a win. I think that game is an over game, like a 38-37.
The Raider game?
No, the Chargers game.
Chargers game. Okay. I think the Raider game is one of those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5-4. I think they kind of have that let down the next week in Denver, even out 5-5.
Denver's a hard place to win, man.
Yeah.
Hard place to play.
Hard to win. Here's the game, and I see them. A lot of people picking them to lose this next game, and I think they win this game. It's the Saints at home. I think Gannon gives Winston some problems.
I'm not on the Saints at all this year.
Yeah. So I see that as a win for us.
Yeah. Here's a wild prediction. Saints have a 4-win, 5-win season. McCarthy does what he usually does and goes, wins 7 or 8 games, whatever, for the
Peyton going to
Cowboys.
Dallas?
And then Peyton will be in Dallas. They've been trying to get Sean Payton forever, and then finally maybe the Saints let him go to Dallas. There's a wild prediction for you.
All right.
Cowboys will change coaches again. They just change them every other week.
Yeah.
Every other year they change coaches.
That's I don't know how Peyton and Jerry Jones would coexist though. I mean, he had a real issue with Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells,
Yeah.
who were powerful, strong guys that wanted to be able to make those decisions and do that. And I just, as much as they say they would want Peyton, I just don't know. Like, Peyton's not going there without control. He's
He's going to want a lot more to say to Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he's not answering to Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones.
No, agreed.
Then we have back-to-back weeks in the Meadowlands, or whatever they call it.
Do the Eagles lose in the Meadowlands?
I think they lose to the Giants.
They rarely lose in the Meadowlands.
But I think they beat the Jets. So
yeah.
I have us at 7-6 at that point.
Wow, 7-6, folks. We're still talking playoffs every other day.
7-6. Home against the Washington football team. And I'm going to go with a win because by that point, Ryan Fitzpatrick might be on life support.
And I will make a prediction there as well. That's great. Thank you.
They'll start great. And
I believe Red Hawks will be the winning name for the Washington football team.
Yeah.
Winning nickname. That's my prediction.
There'll be something with red in it, without question. They don't
I
want
said
to
Red
change color.
Hogs, but it's apparently that's not one of the final 8.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They should listen to me.
the Red Hogs.
Red Hogs.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's it, hey.
They're famous for being hogs and red, right? You want red in the name.
You want
Red
in the
Hogs.
name, yeah.
What's wrong with Red Hogs?
Nothing. Should call Dennis Snyder.
Dan Snyder's an idiot. He's not gonna listen to me.
No, you're an
If he
idiot.
listens-
You're an idiot too. So maybe the two of you will get along really well.
But
You'd
I'm
probably
saying-
you'd probably be best friends.
Can you imagine Red Hogs merchandise be flying off the shelves? Flying.
It'd be like bacon.
Yeah, it'd be flying pigs
Everybody
everywhere.
loves bacon.
You do the whole bacon thing. You do
Oh, yeah.
Red Hog Bacon. Daniel Snyder can buy a company, Red Hog Bacon.
Red Hot. Oh, he'd be a billionaire.
Who wouldn't buy that?
wait.
Oh, he's already a billionaire. Yeah.
So we're at 8
Yeah,
and
yeah.
6, and then the Giants come here, and then Joe Judge will probably be crying about something because he's upset
Yeah,
about
that's
what-
not a win for the Giants.
That's a win for us. 9 and 6.
Wow, 9-6.
We go to Washington and we're pumped up and we lose that game. It's a 9 and 7.
We play them back to back.
We have a game in between.
Game in between.
So
Wow, that's
So
great.
we're 9 and 7. I think we're going into that last week against Dallas for the division.
Wow. For a playoff spot or for the division?
For the division, I think 10 wins.
Because
the
there's
division.
enough, right? There's 7 playoff teams now, right?
So
Right.
we go there. I think we beat Dallas. I don't believe in Dallas. I believe that they're chokers. I was impressed with their offense last night, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think
I
think
they were
Elliott
good.
breaks down as the season goes on. I think Prescott. I think their offensive line breaks down. I'm going 10 and 7 now.
10-7 wins the division. Where are the Red Hogs? Where are they?
I think they're an 8 and 9, 9 and 8.
Really?
I think
And the Giants are a
6 wins,
disaster.
6 and
I
11.
agree. I agree.
And I think Dallas is like right there, 9 and 8, like that kind of. It comes down to the wild cards. And not to put back out of the 10 and 7 prediction, but Hurts has to be the guy. And I'm gonna go.
All right, so
I feel more
all right, that's
positive.
great.
I feel more positive about Hurts than I feel negative about it.
You know what? That's great, though. Let's talk about that. Does Hurts have to be okay? Does he have to be good?
Good.
Or does he have to be great?
Good.
Good.
I don't
Okay.
think he has to be great. He has to be good.
Is he? In other words, you know that term they always use, game manager. Is he a game manager,
I don't think
or is
he's-
he a little bit more than
No,
that?
I don't think he's ever that game manager. I think he has the ability to make big plays where a
Okay.
game manager doesn't. The game
Okay.
manager doesn't have the.
Yeah, you're right. The
that-
game
that
manager doesn't have the
ability,
big playability.
the big playability, and I think he has big playability. So I don't think he's that guy. Is his completion percentage going to be the highest in the league? No. Is he going to make some mistakes? Yeah, but I think they get better as the season goes on. I think Sirianni gets better as the season goes on.
Wow, I like this.
I
This is a
think-
lot of positivity, folks.
We're going positive, man.
That's right.
Positive here on Football
Positive.
Friday.
All right, so we didn't even talk about this,
Yeah.
but who you got in the Super Bowl? Right, we got to do that. Who's the Super Bowl selection?
Ooh, Super Bowl selection.
I have mine. I've thought about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So-
I think I've kind of gone back and forth with the AFC. The Bills were kind of my pick there, but I feel like they might come back to earth a little bit. But and obviously before all these injuries, Baltimore was one of those teams. The Chiefs are obviously always going to be.
You're forgetting out the Titans who
one of
beat the
those
Chiefs 2
teams.
years ago.
But I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think
Yeah.
I think they're
I like
not,
it.
I think they're not 13 and 3 again. I think it's a little more.
Yeah, you're right. They
Hard.
may be 14-3. Yeah, you're right.
No, I think they're probably more 12 and 5. But I think
They still win that division.
But they get there. I think it's them and the Chiefs at the end. And I know that's kind of boring to say again, but that's what I think.
And the Bills win, and I agree with him. Go ahead.
And then on the other side, to me, there's, that NFC West is just the absolute friggin' craziest division. I mean,
both Wests, if you think about it, are going to be
you
the
have-
AFC and the NFC West.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't. Denver, the Raiders, and
I think the Chargers are going to be really good.
I think they're going to be improved. I think they're going to be good, but I don't know if they're going to be super. We're talking about super.
But Denver's not going to be terrible. No way.
You don't know You just told me Teddy Bridgewater was overrated. He's the starting
I'm
quarterback.
just saying that, but their defense is back. Von Miller's back. Like, they're going to be okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
They're not going to be. They're not going to be terrible. I don't think the Raiders are going to be terrible.
But the NFC West has 4 teams,
Yeah.
and 3 of them, Seattle, the Rams, and the 49ers. 49ers get any kind of quarterback play. I mean, you're talking about legitimate contending types teams.
But you talk about that to me. It's like they have depth at quarterback.
I didn't say depth. I
Whatever.
Said,
You would have to call it depth, right?
Brett-
It's 2 guys. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super
went
Bowl.
to the Super Bowl. I mean, he fell apart in the 4th quarter, but he went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I think their defense and the rest of their team's good enough
Yeah, really good.
if he can play well. I think Russell Wilson and Seattle, and I think the Rams are big-time contenders. And then I think, obviously looking at Tampa Bay and Green Bay are going to be those type teams that are where have they dropped off from last year?
All right.
I know the Rams are a very, very sexy pick at this point.
I like sexy.
I just feel like those teams beat each other up a little bit too much. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers going out in a Green Bay Buffalo freezing cold team Super Bowl.
I agree with you on the Bills. I think they're really good. They're only getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think they lost anyone on that team that I'm aware of. Neither did Tampa Bay, by the way. But Tampa Bay's much older team than the Bills are. But I will say to you, I do think the Rams get there. I think Sean McVay is a really good quarterback. I mean, a really good coach.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever... For everybody that hates Matthew Stafford, I think a lot of that hate is the dysfunction in Detroit. Because you want to talk about a quarterback that can make every single throw on the field. He can make it. Let me explain this to you people. Jared Goff could not make every single throw on the field. Not even close. So you're going to have McVay with that receiving squad and Stafford. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little nuts.
They're going to put up, and that's the thing with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You always wonder, you look at guys like Stafford and Matt Ryan and these guys that you're like, they're not that next level, but Matt Ryan, when he had Kyle Shanahan and a good offensive coordinator,
There you go.
he was the MVP and they went to the Super Bowl and should have won the Super Bowl.
Matt Ryan can make every
You know
throw.
what I mean? Matt Stafford, when he had people around him, was able to play well. But they had so many different offensive coordinators, so many different head coaches.
Coaching staffs,
If
schemes.
if those guys had been with somebody good from the beginning,
They'd have been with an Andy Reid or a Sean McVay. I'm telling everybody now, like, if you're not going to go in and score 30, 40 points against the Rams, you're not beating them. It's not going to happen. I will be shocked, actually, if it happens. So we will do that. Now we're going to get into some gambling. So for those of you who don't know, my friend George gives out what's called a Flacco Locko. What's your career record with
my odds?
Flacco Lockos.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's so ridiculously good.
So ridiculously good.
It's so good we don't know what the record is.
It's so good I don't have a shore house. It's so good who can keep track. Listen,
The Flacco Locko is
is
legendary.
legendary. It goes back.
It goes back
30 years.
It goes back 30 years.
30 years. The Flacco
Flacco Locko.
So
Do you have a Flacco Locko for this week?
I'm going to give you a 1 o'clock and a 4 o'clock.
Oh, so you have? Are these both Flacco Lockos, or one of them's a
They are
Flacco Locko,
both Flacco Lockos.
and the other one's a selection?
No, both are Flacco Lockos.
Both are Flacco
I only do
Lockos.
the Flacco Lockos. I'm going to go.
So you're saying you don't value Flacco?
No, listen, I don't give. I'm not saying. Listen,
In my personal life, I have valued Flacco Locos.
you should.
Okay.
It's not just in gambling. There's a lot of things. There's Flacco Lockos.
Oh, all right, good.
Like there's Flocka Locka, then I'm going to drink this bottle of bourbon tonight.
That's absolutely a
Flocka
Flocka
Locka.
Lager.
You should definitely bet.
You could definitely bet on
You
that.
can bet on that. If that's on DraftKings or FanDuel, load up. Take the money line and load up.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it
Take
is. So the first game's Carolina, the Jets, and
Wow.
we talked a little bit.
Carolina is laying 4 at home against the Jets.
And
Go ahead.
I'm not a, we talked about it, huge taking the favorite type of guy, but
No.
I think Sam Darnold against his old team with a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback in Carolina. We talked about Matt Rule,
Yeah.
how much we like Matt Rule. I am in on that. So I am going Carolina minus the 4. And then the second game, Green Bay, the Saints. And we kind of talked about already, not huge on the Saints this year. And I think them being displaced and everything else that's had to go on, Jameis Winston, and Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, I think they just have something to prove. And at 3.5 points, I know they're on the road, but I do like Green Bay, winning. It's not even in New Orleans, but winning on the road. So I'm going to take Green Bay. Those are my 2 Flocka Lockos.
What is Green Bay laying, George?
3.5.
3.5. Okay. And so this is the opposite of what I was just talking about with Matthew Stafford, right? So you had Jameis Winston, who was with Bruce Arians in Tampa. I don't think there's much better offensive minds than Bruce Arians. Winston, very talented, put up numbers, couldn't take care of the football at all, right?
38 touchdowns and like 32 or 33 interceptions.
So to me, him going to Sean Payton, there's no translation there for me. It's not like Matt Stafford going from his 60th offensive coordinator to Sean McVay, right? They're actually going in opposite direction, or different directions for me.
Yep.
So that's why I'm not high on the Saints this year at all.
So those are my 2.
I don't think there's any magic Sean Payton's going to dial up for Jameis Winston, is my point.
And I think the best thing is that if these Flocka Lockos don't make you money, the lifeguard, he comes out on Sunday and Monday nights, he's the guy like, hey, I've lost all weekend, I need some help. The lifeguard comes in and he gives you the winners to pull you back in. And
the lifeguard is there to save everyone's bankroll, to save everyone's home life. He does it. He's tremendous. His record is, I think he's at like a 73% clip all time. It's ridiculous. So the lifeguard will always be there for everyone who likes this and who subscribes, right? Subscribes?
You gotta subscribe. Listen.
Yes.
And we guarantee we'll be over 50%. And if we're not,
we'll drink another one of those.
Drink another bottle.
One of those bottles.
We'll drink a bottle as punishment. Actually, you leave in the comments the bottle we
have to drink.
And no matter how bad it is, we'll drink it.
What if somebody puts like a Mad Dog 2020 out there?
It's got to be bourbon or whiskey.
Oh, that's true. Yes, bourbon or whiskey.
But you could put Bankers Club.
Yeah, we'll also smoke whatever trash cigar.
Yep.
We
will have a trash cigar and trash whiskey if we're not over 50% by the end. We'll say 52 because the Vic. 52%. If we're not 52%.
I think it's 51 and a half we have.
Well, that's why we're rounding up.
Yeah, we're rounding up because we're that good. Yeah. We can round up.
Yeah.
That's right. One last thing before we go, George, would you like to touch base on the Phillies?
No. No, I'd like to stay positive. We're going to stay positive. So let's end positive. Let's end favorite football movie of all time.
Favorite football movie for me all time is Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. It's not even close in my mind. Nothing. It's not even close.
So that's my second favorite, but obviously, and my first favorite is not The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler, but he fucked up.
I fucked
Number
up.
1 is Invincible.
Invincible.
Mark Wahlberg. Come on,
man. You're such a homer,
dude.
Can I say Slapshot?
No, it's not. It's a hockey movie.
Oh, but it's my favorite movie.
Dick. It's a good if we're talking about
Slapshot.
like how.
I think Slapshot's the best football, baseball, basketball
Vince
movie.
Papale, he doesn't care about him.
Fish that saved Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's basketball. Dude.
It's a fantastic movie.
It doesn't matter. You're a moron. Invincible, Longest Yard, Burt Reynolds number 2, but Invincible.
Yeah, Spurt.
You're tearing this team apart.
See you guys.
Most overrated football movie, but great seeing you. Take care. Have a great first football weekend. Go Birds.
Go Birds.